Right now we're at Vancouver, British Columbia, Main Street Science World. And there's the Science World Expo, right over there. If you take a look, surrounding the expo are these 9 Egyptian obelisks. Now what an obelisk is it's basically an Egyptian symbol, an ancient Egyptian symbol from ancient Egyptian history, representing the male fertility, or the penis in layman's terms. So basically what we're surrounded by right now is 9 Egyptian dicks. Now these are the same symbols, the same obelisks can be found throughout many centers of power throughout the world, such as the Vatican in the Holy See in Rome. You can find obelisks everywhere there, and one in particular in the middle of the Vatican Square. You can also find obelisks in London and in Washington, D.C. So I don't think the obelisk is just something they made at random and just a random symbol for these people. I think that the obelisk represents a lot to them, and I think that's why you can see it in major centers of power, as well as in places like Science World. So I don't think it's an accident that these 9 obelisks are here. I think they're doing this on purpose. It's because the same people who invented the Egyptian obelisk are running our science, our religion, and our politics today. Now, if you also look at these obelisks, you'll notice there's a pyramid on top of them made of glass, and inside that glass is a light. Now, at nighttime, these pyramids, the tops of them glow, and that basically symbolizes, it's not just so we can see our way in the dark. It basically symbolizes illumination and a knowledge, and that's what Science World Expo represents, is illumination. So I don't think these 9 obelisks are here by accident. I think there's some symbolic meaning and occultic shit behind them. So if you look on the back of the $1 bill, the American one, what will you see? Well, take a look on the back of it. You'll see Star of David in the form of 13 stars. You'll see the Egyptian eagle, and you'll see the Egyptian pyramid with the Eye of Providence on top of it. Now, what's interesting about all those symbols is they all go back to ancient Egypt, and that's because the same people in control of ancient Egypt and ancient Sumer are the same people that are in control of our society now. And that's why you can find their symbols all over things like Science World and different things in our society. And the Star of David, for instance, has absolutely nothing to do with Jews or Israel. It's basically a Babylonian symbol. It goes back before the Jews, and it represents 666. 6 lines on the Star of David, 6 triangles, and 6 points. So why in Science World, just like the American one and many other things, many other centers of power and knowledge, you find all these fucking Egyptian symbols? That's what I want to know. Take a look inside this glass here. See that right there? 2 pyramids on top of each other. This is in Science World, British Columbia. Can you see how those 2 pyramids, Egyptian symbols, resemble the Star of David? Now that's just one of many. Let's take a look at some more. Notice this pyramid right here. Doesn't that look a little bit like the pyramid that's on the back of the $1 bill? Notice the gold triangle at the very top of it, symbolizing illumination. And there's also all these kinds of Taoist symbols here too. I don't know exactly how they incorporate that into it. Now look at all these patterns here. All these triangles. There's just hundreds of triangles. What does this have to do with science? What does this have to do with Science World? all these pyramids and all these Stars of David. Take a look at the Star of David inside. It looks to be 1, 2, 3. Inside a pentagram, which has six sides and 6 points. Look, Stars of David within Stars of David, right there. And there's some more symbols over here. There it is again at the very back there. Star of David. Here it is again, right pressed against the wall. And here's another pyramid object at the bottom there. So why pyramids? Why Jewish? Jewish symbols, the Star of David, and pyramids all over this place? It's supposed to be about science. I think science is controlled by the same people who control Catholicism, the same people who control our governments. And that's why you can find their symbols throughout all those places of power and knowledge. And you know, if this was really about science here, wouldn't they have some light bulbs or some, you know, some other thing that represents science? No, they have all this esoteric, occult shit from ancient Egypt. And I think there's something going on here. I think it's not an accident that all these symbols are all over here. I think it's because these people control our science. These people are in charge of our science. But what they're not really into science. What they're really into is occult and ancient religions. And just look up Alex Jones, look up David Icke and Jordan Maxwell, and you'll start to see more about what I'm talking about here. Now we're on the inside of Science World, and if you take a look at this, here we go again. Now if it was just a couple symbols here and there, I'd say it's coincidence. And if there was a whole bunch of other friggin' symbols, I'd say it's that aren't in line with what I'm talking about, I'd say it's coincidence. But here we go again. Pyramid. You got 1, 2, 3 pentagrams, or pentagons I think they're called. Each one has 6 sides. 6, 6, 6. Now if this was just one symbol, I'd say okay, maybe it's just coincidence, but there's symbols like this everywhere. And take a look at the top here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an eye in the pyramid, just like on the back of the $1 bill.
Actually, the 6 sides aren't